and it is estimated that over 100,000 small-scale fishes, artisanal fishes, are dependent on a small-scale fishery sector for their livelihood in form of income, employment, food, and nutritional security. Now, for more details on this, I'm joined by the Chief Fisheries Biologist, Elizabeth Ndivayele, from the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, ma'am, and thank you for having me.
All right. Now, first things first, give us an overview on the small-scale fisheries in the Oshana region.
Okay, as we are all aware that Oshana is within the Kubelai system, which is interconnected with different water pens. And these water pens, during rainy and flood seasons, they carry water. And this water runs to the southern part of the region where we have large or different water bodies, which we call dams and lakes, such as Ulili, Oponono in Kachari constituency, and others. And these big dams, they carry water until the next season, and this is where the main fishing activities are happening. And the main fishing activities here is mainly on a subsistence level, where fishermen and women only fish for their own consumption and sell the surpluses. It's also important to mention that the type of processing in terms of fisheries in our region is based on traditional way of drying, and marketing is mainly informal, where fish are sold on individual or open markets at a very low prices. And sometimes it's also sold in terms of exchange of goods, fish with goods like maize and bread. And it's also important to note that as much as this fishing is an important part within our communities, the quantity of how many fish are caught on an annual basis within the region is not yet known, but it is estimated that about 100 people draw their livelihood from these fisheries in the region. So, yeah, it's an important part in the region to say.
All right. Now, Ms. Ndivayele, please talk to us about the ministry's vision for SSF through the NPOA SSF.
Okay. As we are all aware that the Ministry of Fisheries has launched a national plan of action on small-scale fisheries this year. And the purpose of this national plan of action is to recognize the role and socio-economic importance of small-scale fisheries, especially in terms of contributing to food and nutritional security, employment, and livelihood. And this national plan of action is also try to improve the management approach for small-scale fisheries, as well as small-scale fisheries resources, and also help to come up with policies and regulations guiding the small-scale fisheries, because in Namibia currently we don't have a policy that is guiding small-scale fisheries. So this national plan of action also stipulates some guidelines on how to engage community members in order to enrich our policy directions, engagements, and implementation of these policies, both on local and national levels.
All right. Now, how can the local community leaders play a role in small-scale fishing activities?
Currently, the Ministry of Fisheries is working hand in hand with the local authorities, especially the headmen, in authorizing in allowing them to authorize fishing activities within their fishing grounds. For example, in most of the areas or constituencies, especially in the Okachali that I'm talking about, we have lakes and dams. And these dams are community dams where fishing activity can take place. But because fish sometimes they are small and they may not be enough for all the communities, the headmen can cooperate or engage with the Ministry of Fisheries to put up kind of like a close of season, where a period of time, maybe 3 or 4 months, closing for that dam not to be fished. And after a time, then the headmen can again announce that now is a fishing period. All the community members are welcome to come and fish in those dams using their traditional gears. And this is an important part that the traditional authorities and community are playing because they are managing their own resources.
All right.
And they will see the importance if they manage it properly.
All right. Now, talking about fishing, kindly distinguish the activities between the fisher women and fishermen on how different they are and how can they work together to improve these livelihoods?
Okay. Traditionally or culturally, fishing was based or was seen as a men's job, or fishermen are the ones which are known. But in recent ways, women are also coming up. But to come to your question, the distinctive activities that fisher women do, the women are mostly involved in fish processing and marketing, while as for men do mainly the fishing, where they use modern fishing technologies like fishing into deep waters, where they go with the boats and use drag nets or some nets which are allowed to be used for fishing. And women, they normally, if they are to fish, they are involved in using traditional gears. I don't know it in English, it's called oshongo, which is mainly used in shallow waters. And this is what, in my previous answer to say, this is what they use on a local level or traditional dams. That is, they use traditional gears in shallow waters. And to improve or the role they can all contribute to the industry, I think the fishermen and both fishermen and women, they need to be capacitated technically and financially to improve efficiency within their areas of fishing activities. For example, currently their processing is only at one, looking at one way, which is sun drying. And again, women don't go fish in deeper waters simply because they don't have the know-how of swimming, and they need to be trained on how to do swimming, and also to promote perhaps gender balance or gender equality strategies to ensure that both men and women can do fishing. So I think if we train them or capacitate both men and women at their levels, and also to encourage women to do what men do, I think they will both contribute to the fishing industry efficiently.
All right, Ms. Ndivayele, thank you so much for joining us on the Daily Roundup this evening, and thank you so much for the information you just shared.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, that was Chief Fisheries Biologist Elizabeth Ndivayele from the Ministry of Fisheries and Marine Resources, talking to us about the small-scale fisheries and the critical role they play in local economies. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll look at our health corner.